struggles are weaved like complex threads into the tapestry of human life, constituting the fundamental foundation of our journey. They take in a variety of shapes, including adversities that appear insurmountable, difficulties that put our perseverance to the test, and tribulations that try our faith. The consistent, unwavering fact that grounds us in the clamor of life's difficulties is our God. People of many cultures and faiths have turned to a higher force for direction and support throughout history, finding comfort and strength in their faith. In times of adversity and as a source of hope when everything seems lost, one's belief in a divine entity gives one a feeling of meaning and purpose. The human soul finds comfort in its relationship with the divine when confronted with personal problems like disease, bereavement, or grief. The most intense experiences of God's presence occur at these vulnerable times. Whispered prayers, tears, and a silent faith arise, reminding us that we are not the only ones experiencing agony. The belief in a merciful and loving God provides comfort and certainty in the face of difficulty. It is the knowledge that a greater purpose is at work even on the gloomiest of nights. People who have this faith are able to endure, find strength in their weaknesses, and discover beauty in the midst of turmoil. They get the strength to face their challenges head-on through prayer and introspection, knowing that God is always with them. But religion is more than just a support system for the helpless. It is a motivating factor that spurs action and enables transformation. People are motivated to reach out and assist others in their challenges by the source of compassion and love. By helping others, they act as conduits for God's love, bringing healing and hope to a damaged world. In addition to offering a moral compass, an ethical framework that directs people in negotiating the difficulties of life, religion, in its different manifestations, also offers this. It gives guidelines and ideals that uphold fairness, compassion, and empathy and exhorts adherents to treat others with decency and respect. This moral compass is particularly useful during difficult times when it is simple to give in to rage, resentment, or despair. Individuals are able to overcome their circumstances and overcome their own limits by abiding by the teachings of their religion. However, it is not always simple to fight to keep one's faith in the face of difficulty. It is normal and unavoidable for people to have doubts and questions. When confronted with hardships that seem insurmountable, people may doubt God's presence or goodness. They could ponder why a kind God would subject them to pain or why their prayers don't appear to be heard. In these times of uncertainty, it's important to keep in mind that having all the answers is not what religion is about. Rather, faith is about finding comfort and trust in the face of ambiguity. Furthermore, religion should be seen as a source of strength and resilience to confront obstacles rather than as a panacea for all of life's issues. It is a support system that travels beside us through the deepest valleys but is not a promise of a life free from suffering. These troughs are where our character is formed, where our compassion grows, and where our relationship with God is reinforced. Let us be mindful of the threads of difficulty woven into the very fabric of our existence as we traverse the tapestry of our own lives. Let us find comfort in our faith and power in our relationship with God. May we never forget that we are not alone in the midst of difficulty, but are embraced by a kind and caring heavenly presence. And may our difficulties, when accepted with faith, become the force that drives us to improve as people and leave a lasting impact on the world. Life is a journey, a symphony that displays a wide range of feelings and encounters. It is a mesmerizing song that is chock full of victories and failures, highs and lows. However, there is a heavenly presence, an unfailing support that sees us through the turmoil and difficulties. We awaken each day prepared to engage in the next fights. We sometimes get the impression that there is no way out of the difficulties we are facing. We could have a sense of being crushed beneath the weight of our obligations or being overburdened. We could start to have doubts and ask where God is in all of this. A calm strength does, however, emerge among the chaos and commotion. Our perplexity makes it difficult to see the way ahead. We could have trouble solving problems and comprehending the reason for our difficulties. Faith turns into our source of illumination during these times of confusion. Even if we are unable to understand it, we have faith that there is a bigger design at play. We cling to the conviction that everything has a purpose and that God is miraculously directing our lives. We could run across difficulties and persecution as we traverse life. There may be moments when we experience resistance and animosity and it seems like the whole world is against us. It is simple to feel abandoned and deserted at these times, both by heavenly and human assistance. But God is with us always, even when things seem the darkest. Even when it seems that everyone else has abandoned us, Jesus never leaves us. His grace gives us the inner fortitude and resiliency we need to go on. Life has a way of knocking us down and upsetting our equilibrium. We could make mistakes and slip up, failing and suffering setbacks. We feel like we have been totally devastated in these times of loss. But there is hope, even in our darkest hours. We muster the fortitude to get back up, cheer ourselves up, and go on with the adventure. We come to understand that failure is only a stepping stone on the road to development and change rather than the end. Life's challenges are intended to mold us, not to destroy us. They push us to our boundaries, disprove our convictions, and develop our character. We learn about our genuine selves, our resiliency, and our capacity for love and compassion through hardship. We are conscious of the fact that it is through our hardships that we discover not only our own salvation but also the redemption of others. Indeed, life is a war zone. It is a symphony that combines happiness, grief, victory, and failure. Between optimism and despair, between light and darkness, there is a perpetual fight. But in the middle of the confusion, there is a spiritual presence that leads us, helps us get back up when we fall, and serves as a constant reminder of our mission. Let's accept the difficulties as a vital component of life's vast symphony. Let us put our confidence in God's presence, knowing that even though we may face challenges from all directions, we are never overcome, confused but never hopeless, persecuted but never abandoned, and struck down but never destroyed. Let us dance to the beat of life with this faith, knowing that every struggle adds a note to the lovely and well-balanced song of our existence. I've always thought that there is a God. For me, it is a profoundly held conviction that God's presence is actual and palpable rather than merely a belief or an abstract idea. It is something that we feel and experience at the very center of ourselves rather than something that can be rationally explained or shown. I am compelled to believe that a creator was involved when I consider the world's natural beauty, the human body's unique design, and the intricacy of the cosmos. Every part of creation seems to have God's fingerprints, serving as a constant reminder of who He is and what He is capable of. But God's presence is sensed in many ways than simply the beauty of creation. It may also be found in little, daily moments. It may be found in a loved one's tender touch, a smile's warmth, or a kind remark. It occurs both in happy and humorous as well as sad and emotional occasions. It may be found in the remarkable coincidences that appear too precise to be random and in the quiet prods that lead us in the right direction. God is constantly with us, in every instant and in every breath. His presence is not restricted to a particular location or period of time. God's actual presence has been felt in my life. I have experienced His loving arms enveloping me in difficult and uncertain moments, giving me solace and courage. When I had to make tough choices, I sensed His guiding me in the correct direction. And in times of hopelessness and despair, I have experienced His strength raising me up and renewing my faith. I can remember one specific encounter in particular. I was going through a really difficult time of loss and sadness personally. I felt like I was drowning in grief because the suffering was so great. But despite my desperation, I sensed a presence, along with warmth and tranquility that surrounded me. It was a real sensation, like someone was embracing me and reassuring me in hushed tones. I was aware at the time that God was with me and would see me through the storm. This encounter has enhanced my awareness of God's physical presence and boosted my faith, along with many others. It is a reality that I can feel and experience, not simply a belief. It serves as a daily reminder that I am loved and cared for by a higher power who is always there for me and that I am not alone. But experiencing God's presence is something that everyone can do. It is something that all of us may experience and observe. We foster a setting where God's presence may be felt even more clearly as we gather in worship, prayer, and fellowship. We may actually experience God's strength and love during these times of group worship because we boost one another up and form connections with something bigger than ourselves. The actual presence of God offers comfort and hope in a world that sometimes seems chaotic and unclear. It serves as a reminder that we are not alone in our troubles and that a higher force is keeping an eye on us and directing us. Knowing that God is with us no matter what obstacles we encounter provides us the confidence and fortitude to handle them. So let's not limit God to the spheres of faith or conjecture. Let's accept the deep impact of His love, His wisdom, and His power by allowing our hearts and minds to be open to the reality of His presence. God is a genuine presence that we can feel in the depths of our being. He is not a distant figure or an abstract idea. We may experience the great impact of God's love, wisdom, and strength just as we can feel the weight of our troubles. Because God is as real as the air we breathe, it gives us comfort to know that we are not alone while facing hardship. Starting a faith-based journey. The start of a fantastic trip that will lead us into the depths of our souls and the foundation of our beliefs begins today. We turn to the pages of the Bible, where we will find many examples of unshakable faith and tenacity. These tales are not only historical accounts, they are narratives that reflect our own difficulties and provide us with motivation to get through them. Romans 8 verse 18, one of the Bible's most potent texts, motivates us to keep going despite hardship. Paul, the Apostle, says, "For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." This passage pulls back the curtain on our current struggles and shows us a future brimming with immense grandeur. It serves as a reminder that the struggles we are now experiencing are insignificant in front of the wonderful future that God has planned for us. We shall run across 7 universally experienced domains of suffering as we go on our adventure. These are the places where we wrestle with life's uncertainties, fight against uncertainty, and find stability in the face of misfortune. The battle against doubt and uncertainty is the first domain. Uncertainty and doubt have been humanity's eternal companions throughout history. Even Joshua, the renowned leader who led the Israelites into the Promised Land, had moments of uncertainty as he stood in front of Jericho's impregnable walls. But he held fast to God's instruction and took comfort in the assurance of His presence. Joshua's narrative shows us that we may find comfort and courage in God's constant constancy even when we are facing uncertainty. The acceptance of progress via difficulty is the second domain we will come upon. Although a powerful foe who may destroy us, adversity also has the capacity to make us stronger. We may discover courage in the midst of adversity, just like the strong oak tree does when standing tall in the face of adversity. The Apostle James exhorts us to rejoice in tribulations because they develop perseverance in us. Our actual strength and resilience are only shown to us through the difficulties of life. Finding hope in the face of sadness is the third area we shall explore. The dim light of hope that burns inside us might be threatened by despair, which can be a smothering companion. However, as we can see from Joseph's narrative, there is always reason for optimism, even in the worst of situations. Betrayed and imprisoned, Joseph clung to the notion that his suffering had no place in God's greater purpose. His narrative serves as a reminder that even amid the most difficult circumstances, God is working to fulfill His purposes, and that our faith in Him will never be in vain. We shall discover the knowledge and power that God's Word provides us as we go through these areas of hardship. Each domain displays a different aspect of God's constant presence and direction, serving as a reminder that even if the struggle is real, our God is also. In times of doubt, He stands by our side, supports us through hardship, and restores hope to us when everything else has failed. My sincere hope is that as we set out on this trip, we will have the strength to confront our challenges head-on and realize that we are not alone. The biblical accounts of perseverance and faith aren't simply historical accounts, they also relate to us now. They are the accounts of men and women who triumphed after going through similar adversity as we do today. May their travels serve as an example for us, and may the hope of our wonderful future provide comfort. Let us be encouraged by the indisputable fact that we are never alone in our troubles, since God is at our side the whole time.